Hi guys, welcome to another video on my channel Football Canapes, and that's the world of football we live in. Yesterday the news was that Thomas Tuchel has been sacked as Chelsea manager. Yes, they had made a poor start to the window, but I didn't anticipate or expect that they'd be sacking their manager Thomas Tuchel, but that did happen. And now yesterday, the news broke that Graham Potter was given permission to speak with Chelsea, and today the contracts have been signed, sealed, and just waiting for the official announcement. By the looks of it, it looks like all is done, and Graham Potter will be the new Chelsea manager. And yeah, the reports on Twitter, they say that Graham Potter has already said his goodbyes to the Brighton staff, and yeah, let's see. An interesting subplot of this story is, let's see who Brighton go for, because in the past they have been they're going for managers who play a particular brand of football. Michael Laudrup, Brendan Rodgers, all of them played a particular brand of football. Even in fact, Michael Laudrup won the Carabao Cup with I mean, with Swansea, but that's what I meant to say, that they Brighton have been going for managers who play a particular brand of football. So the news is that Graham Potter could be arriving at Chelsea's training ground, Cobham, at any point of time, and it will be a 5-year deal. 5-year deal for a Chelsea manager. While speaking on this video, I just realized 5-year deal for a Chelsea manager. Interesting, because if you look at Roman Abramovich's era, he fired managers left, right, and center. If you didn't succeed, you'd find yourself heading out of the door, and and going by the first 100 days of this new ownership at Chelsea, it looks like that Chelsea are just a reincarnation of what was going on previously at Chelsea. So 5-year deal does seem a little odd to me, and I mean, remains to be seen if he does see out his 5 years at Chelsea, and let's see what happens there. And by the looks of it, Chelsea will be paying around 20 million pounds to Brighton and Hove Albion for the services of Graham Potter. And I mean, like, you know Graham Potter plays 3-4, 3-4-3, or 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to call it, and which was pretty similar to what Thomas Tuchel was playing, 3-4-3 or 3-4-1-2. And but the difference that I see in both styles is that Thomas Tuchel's 3-4-3 looked a bit more defensive than Graham Potter's 3-4-3, right? So that's one topic or thing that I noticed in Graham Potter's style, where I think it's an improvement. Thomas Tuchel came across as a player, as a manager who was very emotional. Highs were too who got too excited when it was good times, and too low when it was not going according to plan. And Graham Potter, since he's been in England. He's been very level-headed. In the last, if we go to the 2 seasons prior to the last season, where Brighton and Hove Albion finished ninth, they finished 15th and 16th respectively, and Bright. There were times when there were dangers of Brighton going into or sliding into a relegation battle. Graham Potter never lost his head. He answered every question with a straight face, with a solid mind, um, or from a headspace where you knew that if he is calm, then the dressing room is calm, and if they are calm, then the administration or the hierarchy at Brighton and Hove Albion, they will be calm as well. So that is where Brighton are or were at this point of time. It will be a big loss for Brighton and Hove Albion. Uh, One player, Mark Kukurea, who basically handed in a transfer request. Interesting to see how their relationship evolves, because because Chelsea currently have two left backs who, you know, are both vying for the number one spot, and in their own rights, they feel that they are good enough to be number one anywhere. You know, be it Mark Cucurella or Ben Chilwell. Both Ben Chilwell is coming back from a serious injury, so let's see how it goes. Maybe Cucurella could play the left-sided centre back, and that's how it evolves. And so coming back to Chelsea and how his relationship with uh, with Graham Potter works. Uh, it'll be not too much of a change. I think he'll bring the best out of players like Mason Mount, who have been below par this season. You look at a player like Adam Lallana at Brighton, who who perhaps isn't in that good a shape physically, or because he's much older as Mason Mount. So you would expect Graham Potter to bring the best out of Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling, who's an England international, and the players who Chelsea have kept. There was interest in them from other clubs, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, and players of that ilk. Let's see how they go under Graham Potter, because any manager who comes in, the first statement he says, it's a fresh start for everybody. So uh, Christian Pulisic, as I said, Hakim Ziyech, it will be interesting to see how they go about under Graham Potter. And so now it will be a fresh start. Chelsea have been not at their best this season. They finished what, fourth last season. It was a bit of an, a season of fighting a lot of fires with the sanctions on Abramovich, etc., etc. This season it carried on with Thomas Tuchel's personal life, maybe getting into it, and then the moving on of Mariana Granovskaya and Petr Cech. There was a lot of responsibility on Thomas Tuchel. So maybe it was a bit too exhausting for him. Some of the comments that Thomas Tuchel made, like when they went to Leeds via bus. I mean, it wasn't a bus like we have in India. It must have been a state of the art bus with all the facilities, and also so those were petty comments that Thomas Tuchel made, and perhaps he shouldn't have made those comments. So, as I said previously, Graham Potter would come in. He'll remain calm. He'll instill confidence in his players. They're very good. I mean, like the pedigree of players: Raheem Sterling, Reece James. You look at Thiago Silva. And Jorginho, and Golo Conte when he's fit, and Mateo Kovacic. These players are really good, and Graham Potter ideally should be able to bring the best out of them. Yes, when the window opens, he would like to bring in his own signings. They Chelsea have already spent a lot of money in the transfer market. But they have to back Graham Potter when the window opens. Jorginho, Conte, they're not getting any younger, and they have to Chelsea have to back Graham Potter. Maybe he'll go back to Brighton. Just one more thing about the playing style. Brighton, the average age was very low, right? Uh, at Chelsea, it's Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, both in their 30s. Trevor Chalobah, who had a breakthrough season last season, hasn't been seen much. Jorginho and Conte both are in their 30s. Yes, fullbacks are younger. Cesar Espilicueta, he's quite old. So I think one of the tasks that Graham Potter will be given is bringing down the average age of the squad, and and the kind of football that that Chelsea want to play. They'll have to bring down the average age of the squad. So let's see what happens. Just dwelling on what Graham Potter has done previously in his managerial career. Actually, I think most of us know. If you don't know that, I'm just going to talk about it. That Graham Potter went to Sweden to Östersund to manage the club, and he became Östersund's manager in 2011, and in within just 2 years he uh, he earned back-to-back promotions. Östersunds were in the fourth division of the Swedish league, and he earned two back-to-back promotions with the Östersunds, and in then he signed a new contract in around 2013, and then uh, then they reached the top flight of the Swedish league, where um, in a couple of years they won the Swedish Cup, the Svenskan Cup, I think it's called. They beat 4-1 their opponent 4-1 in that uh, in that final, and that meant they went straight into the second round of the draw of the UEFA Europa League. There was no Conference League, of course, at that time, and there uh, they beat Galatasaray 3-1. Galatasaray, who have been regulars in the Champions League. Even last season they were in the Europa League. So a big team, and for a Swedish team to beat a team like Galatasaray is a big deal. At least for me, I think it's a very big deal. Then they beat Noah Elch or something like that team, um, and then they qualified for the group stage of the UEFA Europa League by beating PAOK Athens from Greece, and they were in the group stages. They finished second in their group behind Athletic Bilbao of Spain, and I was working with Hindustan Times at that time in the sports division, and there was like a big feature when they beat Arsenal 2-1 at the Emirates in the quarterfinal of the UEFA Europa League, but they unluckily or unfortunately or whatever it was, they went out to Arsenal 4-2 on aggregate, and then Graham Potter went to Swansea, uh, where Swansea had been recently relegated in the 20 which season was it, 2017-18 season. So and they 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 do well? I don't particularly think so. They were a recently relegated team. They had the finances. They they finished 10th. One shining light for Brighton was that they they were leading Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City 2-0 at one time, but in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. But in the end, three goals where Sergio Aguero scored, one or two goals meant that they went out to Manchester City, and there's no shame in losing to Manchester City. But Swansea, when Graham Potter was at Swansea, he they went to I mean, like the way they collapsed in the last 20 minutes was something that must irk him quite a bit, and so yep. And that's when Brighton came in. At Brighton, he's been a breath of fresh air. Some of the performances, if you look at it, have been absolutely outstanding. As a Newcastle fan, I can tell you one game that particularly uh, rings a lot of bells, alarm bells, is in the 2021 season, where it was the second league game of the season, and Brighton at St. James's Park just played us off the park. They won 3-0, and in the end, yes, they were down to 10 men, but that was only in the added time, I think. And later in that season, they again played us played us off the park 3-0 again. This time there wasn't any injuries or anything like that, but just plain superb brand of playing football, and that's how it is with the Graham Potter. That's what he has done so far in his career. He's only 47. There's still plenty of time for him. So Chelsea, let's see what happens at Chelsea. It will be a tough task. As good a manager as he is, it will be a tough task for Graham Potter. Um, Not because he's a bad manager or that Chelsea have a squad of players that isn't up to the mark. Both of those things aren't true, but but the way the situation has come about, Chelsea came out yesterday, or through the reporters, it was said that it was a long-term strategic decision to get rid of Thomas Tuchel, and the decision was taken before the Dinamo Zagreb game, which Chelsea lost 1-0 to Dinamo Zagreb, of course. And any new owner that comes in wants to bring in his own man, and maybe Potter is the way to go for them. So earlier, I was thinking that they were trying to emulate what Roman Abramovich was doing as an hire and fire of the managers, but 5-year deal makes me rethink as to how this thing is being run, and because you get rid of Thomas Tuchel, there's a lot of money to be given away in the severance package, You bring in Graham Potter, his staff, which includes Kyle McCauley and Billy Reed. So these two people will also come in along with Graham Potter. I don't think he'll negotiate on that. So there's a lot of money being spent. So, and Todd Bowley, who's like the face of who's basically the face of the consortium that is leading the leading the Chelsea charge, so as to speak. So he'll have to explain his financial decisions to every one of those investors who have spent, they'll eventually end up spending around 4.25 billion to Chelsea. They can't take dividends out. There's an anti-clear clause. There are other clauses as well with this deal. So there's a lot of money to be spent. There has to be a long-term strategy, and American owners, as you know, would want something in return in the long run. I don't know what that is or what their expectations are, but yeah. So uh, interesting to see how much time, how much leeway, or as is the terminology, how much rope is uh, is Graham Potter given uh, in the long run. The expectations will be high. Um, Not saying they were low at Swansea or Brighton or anything like that, but they'll be higher, which is expected. You will be in four competitions, and the first one, Chelsea, with the Premier League and uh, and the uh, and the Champions League, you have gotten off to a bad start. So top four is a minimum, and you have to qualify out of your Champions League group stage. So expectations, rightly so, would be a little higher, and so it will bring its own scrutiny. At Brighton, nothing would probably make big headlines in big English newspapers, but anything you do at Chelsea, anything that goes wrong or anything like that, would be front page news, or maybe even the big headline on a back page on a Saturday or Sunday or something like that. So pressure will be on Graham Potter, but I have full confidence that he'll be able to deal with it, and rest remains to be seen. I have full confidence that he'll do well. He, as I've said previously in this video, maybe more than two or three times, that he's a character which is calm, who doesn't get too excited when things are going well, or doesn't get too down when things aren't going well. So that's a positive. Um, let's see what happens. All the best to Graham Potter in his new role, which is all set to be announced today. That's all I wanted to say in this video about Graham Potter, who's set to become the new manager. Before I log off, I just came across one remarkable stat, or as they say, useless stat, that Chelsea will be the first club that Graham Potter has managed, which will not have a bird on its club crest or club badge, which made me chuckle a bit. So yeah, that's it for this video. Just one request: if you're watching, please click like and share and subscribe if you can, and that would be a big help. So I'll see you in my subsequent videos. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye.